right, everybody. Well, welcome back to another episode of the Blazer Victory Podcast. John Duncan here. And of course, I'm joined as always with my co hosts, Darian Smith and Jimmy Marion. And guys, it is game week again. It's for the first time in program history. UAB will travel to the number one team in the country, the Georgia Bulldogs, this Saturday night at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time and televised nationally on ESPN2. But Darren, Jimmy, you guys doing okay? You know, we just dropped the Patreon, a couple Patreon episodes. So let's go ahead and plug that real quick. You know, we did the after review, which is our series on the Patreon where we kind of reflect back on the previous game and discuss, you know, some of the things that we did not discuss or take into account on our instant reaction, which is a very emotional show. And our listeners know that. But with the Patreon after review, we actually take some time and reflect. And I mean, what a fiery episode. You know, our Patreon supporters are already, you know, talking great things about this episode. But not only that, we also dropped a one-on-one exclusive that I had to sit down again with Trent Dilfer. So just amazing content on the Patreon. Go to patreon.com/blazerpod if you are not a subscriber already. Well worth the $5, or you can even save more by joining annually, and you save 10% that way. So patreon.com/blazerpod, really great content on there, exclusive content, and you know we already do a great job on the free show, giving you twice, you know, 2 times a week episodes. But Darian, Jimmy, wouldn't you agree that the after review series is a fantastic series that we started on the Patreon?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, 100%.
I think we got some
stuff
off our Jimmy. I think we were able to get some stuff off our chest. When you agree?
Yeah, I was going to say, for those of you that haven't listened to the after review show before, usually John and I just throw the ball to Darren and say, just roll with it. Because Darian, like, he just shines when we're talking about, you know, the film, breaking down the film, and plus he enjoys it. And you can just really sense that passion from him. And so it just gets me energized. And like, it really helps me just like look beyond the surface level, like to get past the emotion of like win or loss and understand exactly what's going on. So, but this time, the three of us on the after review show, let's be honest, a lot of us didn't really want to rewatch that game again. We wanted to do as Dilfer and the staff said, and flesh it. And we just really free-formed it this time. Like, if you guys always talk about like therapy, like me, I'll speak for myself. After a game like that, I just want to just sit down, grab a drink, and just talk to some like-minded people and be like, can we just figure this out together? We figured it out together in that particular podcast, in that particular episode. We looked at not just the where we are right now, just the microcosm of this season, but we talked a little bit about, we peeled it back and we looked in the rearview mirror a little bit, and we talked about how did we get here? Were there some signs that led to where we are today? And I think that it's going to provide some broader perspective. And we also really look through the lens of like where we're going for the rest of the season and what the future holds. And so we're just able to like mix all of that together. And I think for any of you that haven't, you know, decided to take that subscription and subscribe to the Patreon yet, this is a really good opportunity. So I would highly encourage you to do so.
Bingo. Like he said it perfectly there. It ain't too much for me to add on to. I just think it was just great perspective, and so I think the Patreon is 100% worth it. Sometimes I feel like people get it confused on a free show, and they think just because we're reacting emotionally after the game, they think this platform is here to bash or, you know, probably get off with the I got you, I told you, I got you, told you. No, this ain't that. And I'll be the first to tell you, like, you know, that this ain't that. You know, I tell you to your face. You know, we are reacting as a fan would mostly on the when we review the instant reaction show. It's like it's emotional. That's what we want to provide. We want to provide an experience. And then afterwards, I was like, okay, we got our emotions. Let's talk about. Let's look at the bigger perspective of everything. Let's break down film or whatever we got to do. So I would just refer you guys over to the Patreon because we care less about feelings on there. I can care less about feelings anyway, but I'd rather be more business-like here. So, yeah.
Love it. Again, patreon.com/blazerpod. Join today if you have not already. But guys, it's game week, and UAB's got another tall task on their hands. Coming into Georgia 1-2. But a good opportunity, national television, against the number one team, two-time defending, looking to go three-peat Georgia Bulldogs. Unfortunately, UAB faced off against Georgia a couple years ago in 2021 when they were ranked number 2 in the nation and fell 56-7. I was in attendance for that ball game. That kind of got out of the way really quick. But I mean, yeah. We're not going to tell you something you already don't know. Georgia is good. They're ranked number 1 for a reason. They've got 4 and 5, really mainly 5 stars across all the board, offense and defense. They've struggled a little bit with South Carolina last week, really mainly the first half, but second half really just said, okay, game on, and then kind of took care of business with South Carolina. But tall task, a tough challenge that I know that the players and Trent Dilfer and staff are up to in Athens this Saturday night. So let's go ahead and start off by looking at the offensive side of the ball for the Georgia Bulldogs. They've got a quarterback, Carson Beck. He's already thrown for 846 yards through 3 games. 1 interception. And real quick, too, folks forget that Carson Beck actually played in the game a couple years ago against UAB, and threw a pick 6, to Keandre Swoops. So that was the lone score in that game to avoid the shutout. But Darian, I mean, real quick, we're going to be completely honest. Georgia is what it is. Number 1 team ranked, and number 1 ranked. They are looking to go for a three-peat. Tall task. Currently, the line is UAB is a 42-point underdog. That line opened up at like 37, and that's just continued to swing towards Georgia. This is going to be a quick preview. Normally our previews are about 30 minutes. This is going to be well under that, and I mean we might not even make the 20-minute. But guys, we don't have to talk about Georgia. We know I just mentioned Carson Beck, Brock Bowers. Obviously that's another guy, tight end that UAB fans will remember a couple years ago that tore UAB up. And to be honest, he's going to have some catches again this Saturday. But let's kind of spin it. Instead of looking at, let's scout the Georgia offense, let's scout the Georgia defense. Let's be real. They've got playmakers all across the board. Their second and third string are playmakers. Shoot, they probably got three stars in the third string. Their walk-ons might be 3 stars. I mean, I'm being real. But what do we want to see out of UAB this Saturday? Jimmy, I'll throw it to you first. What do you want to see?
Yeah, that's a really good question. That's what I was going to talk about too, is just looking at Georgia thus far. You look at their 2 non-conference games. They played Tennessee Martin and they played Ball State, and they outscored those opponents 93-10 in those 2 contests. And they probably did it sleepwalking. ESPN Matchup Predictor gives UAB a 1.4% chance of winning this game. And Trent Dilfer said it best. He said, if UAB plays the way that they played this past Saturday, there's a 0% chance that UAB wins this game. If we play as poorly as we did versus Louisiana against Georgia, this is going to be worse than Bishop Sycamore versus IMG Academy. I don't know if y'all saw that, Doc.
Oh, yes.
So what I'm looking to see in this game is first and foremost, I'm just looking for a couple of things. We talked about this on the Patreon. I'm looking to see what type of potential lineup changes that we're going to see at certain positions, whether it be on the defensive line or in the secondary, as it relates to maybe getting some players that came in at the end of the game against Louisiana and that were playing hungry and that were playing good ball, during those limited reps, to see if they can kind of creep on the field. Now, speaking of tall tasks, that's an extremely hard ask of, players that haven't been a part of the game plan for the first couple of weeks of the year to come in on the road against the number one team in the country. But I'm looking to see if we start to see some of those guys creep into the rotation. Also, you know, I'm looking for just, is this team going to continue to fight through adversity? We talked a little bit on the immediate reaction about kind of sideline like there when it got really bad before we got those scores late. Just kind of the engagement or potentially lack thereof in a couple of spots. They're going to face extreme adversity in this game. So how are they going to handle it? There are going to have to be some corrections, nothing major but minor this week in practice. And I'm looking to see just UAB being in the position to make plays. So schematically, you know, we might get trucked like on a particular play, but are we in the right position? Because the reality is that we're not going to face this level of athlete in most of our contests throughout this season. So, first of all, it's just really playing hard with effort and being in the right positions to make plays, to have some carryover, to bend, don't break, and to have some type of like just momentum per se, like in little pockets that we can carry forward into this really important first AAC conference game, which was announced to kick off at 11 a.m. against Tulane the week thereafter. And of course, really number one on my list is we've sustained some injuries on this team thus far this year and in the offseason. Please stay healthy. Like, that's going to be number one, too, on my wish list is like just stay healthy, have a few positive plays, some things that you can take away, be in the right position to make plays. And let's see some of these guys that really want to go out there and put that UAB jersey on. Let's see them get that opportunity, and let's see them grow some against this number one team in the country.
Yeah, so all great points by Timmy. Same things I'll be looking for. And I'll just bring a little different perspective. When I played at UAB, I played against Tennessee, Mississippi State twice, played against Florida. One thing that I was looking, I relished in those opportunities. You know why? It's because I thought I was the best center in the nation. I didn't give a care about a ranking or what people said is who were, where they came from. You was gonna have to show me on the field because I felt like, oh, if I perform against this team, now this is so, and this makes the team better, but this is solely about me. So I want guys to make it about them, make it personal. You do your job as a player to show this is the stage that you want to be on. Everybody that plays college football, everybody thinks they're good enough to play in the NFL, and they just need an opportunity, right? Oh, I just need this opportunity. Well, damn it, here go your opportunity. This is what you want. This is what you want, right? These are the players you're going to be facing. Some of these guys are going to be like that in the NFL. And if you think you got all of this talent, because you know how we stroke egos, especially now in college football. Everybody think they're good and everybody think they should be playing. And only if they were out there, they would do this and they would do that. I can proudly say that every time I stepped out there, against Florida, we got beat 30-0 when we played Florida. Guess what? I performed well, and my offensive line performed well because I had to make it personal about me. I was gonna block all of my assignments. I was gonna pancake dudes. I was gonna show you that I belong at that next level. And sometimes, if that's where your inspiration has to come, that's where it has to come from. Of course, you want your team to win. But there's a part of you that says there's a bigger goal to this too. And the only way that can work is if you do your job and you do it effectively. I would have loved to go against a Jalen Carter or somebody like that. And I know he's with the Eagles now. But I would have loved to do that. Because I love going against Fletcher Cox when he played at Mississippi State. I loved it. It was an opportunity for me. I loved going against Dominique Easley and Ronald Powell when they played against when we played against Florida. I felt like, okay, here go a chance to shine. So what I want to see from the players is like you get to get on that field. You get to get on that field, and you think if you believe that you're really who you think you are, go prove it. Go prove it. Now, however that looks is however that looks, but don't come back crying and saying, "Oh, I didn't get an opportunity to just show what I could do." Blah blah blah. If only this. When you get older and you lying to your kids, you lying to your grandkids, talking about how good you was. Go prove it. We in the age where film is everywhere. They can just look back and they're gonna be able to look up. They're gonna be able to look it up. So this is my challenge. This is about you. I expect the score to be a lot to a little. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. But that don't take away from competitiveness. That don't take away from self-belief. So if you got to think, if the team has a lot of U's on the team, whoever that U is that's feeling like I'm ready for this, if the team got a lot of U's on y'all team, then y'all got a chance to compete because y'all didn't show that against Louisiana. So if you ain't show that against Louisiana, what the hell you think Georgia gonna do to you? But that's still up to you though. That's still up to you. It's all up to you. Whatever you want to prove, here's your chance to put it on film. All the NFL guys are gonna be watching. All the NFL guys are gonna be watching. Don't blame nobody else. Here's your opportunity. I want to see film from you. If you get beat constantly like a drum, don't look at nobody when you say, "Oh, it should have been an NFL." No, you shouldn't. You're not NFL material. You played Georgia, didn't they show you that? They showed you that, right? So get focused, make it personal, show what you can do. Forget about everything else. This is about you making all your assignments and being physical and having pride, man. As a person, have pride. Show what you can do. This is your platform.
Yeah, very well said, Darian. A lot of things to look forward. I mean, other than the score this Saturday, get, like Jimmy mentioned, please no injuries, get that paycheck, and speaking of pay attention, don't pay attention to the chat. But yeah, hey, no injuries, get that paycheck, get out. Let's go into conference play with some momentum. Like Darian said, just relish the opportunity. You're not gonna, for a lot of these kids, you're not gonna have a stage brighter as Saturday night. ESPN2, number one team in the country. Show them what you're made of. But like Jimmy mentioned too, like I'm just looking for assignments. Obviously Georgia is going to be bigger and more athletic than UAB. So even if you're in the right spot and doing your assignment, you still might be bowled over, but that's okay. We just want to see progress. Moving from Louisiana to Georgia, and then into AAC play the next Saturday against Tulane.
Hey, despite Georgia, just destroying some of these opponents, they've had some end of first quarter close outcomes. Even against a team like Tennessee Martin, it was 7-0 Georgia at the end of the first quarter. I think last week it might have been tied 0-0 at the end of the first quarter against South Carolina. So I don't have the
Jimmy.
Yes.
USF and Alabama. Did you see that one?
Oh yeah, that was close.
I'm just saying. I know we just got murdered, but this is football, so this is a chance to redeem yourself. Look at that USF and Alabama game. Now, Alabama and where they are and figuring themselves out, and Georgia where they are figuring themselves out, is two totally different situations. Same amount of talent on each team, though. So just throwing that out there. And I know we're just as talented as USF. I don't care what nobody say. So I'm just throwing that out there.
Well, look at this. So Tennessee Martin, it was 7-0 Georgia. And then against Ball State, it was 0-0 at the end of the first quarter. And then against South Carolina was up 7-3 against Georgia at the end of the first quarter. So we've got a sample size of 3 games against a variety of opponents that Georgia did not get off to quick starts. So, we're looking for like little wins here and there. I want to see us keep this game close in the first quarter. Am I crazy?
No, you're not. I want to see these dudes. I want to see these dudes compete. You're not crazy. I want to see them compete with pride. I want to see them celebrate. I want to
Yeah.
see them. I want to see them get after guys. I want to see young guys get in there and play. I want to see us play our best players. I don't care about age. I want to see a coach coaching with edge. I want to see us not scared to blitz, to go after it. I just want to see guys trying and being going out there and believing in themselves that they can make these plays. Go make them. That's what you're here for. That's what you're here for. Starlin Thomas, he's in the NFL. You know, all those guys, they proved their worth. You know, one of the main reasons that Jalen Key got that offer to Alabama? Because he showed that he can do it against LSU.
Yes.
He believed in himself, and that got him noticed. And then it was a bidding war over this guy. It wasn't just Alabama wanting him. It was everybody in the nation, basically. And he was a guy that did not play at UAB. I want to stress that. He was on the team for years. He developed. He waited his turn. He got better. And then he proved himself on the big stage. And that's what happened to him. Now he's starting at Alabama, catching interceptions. He's that guy, you know. So take advantage of the opportunity. That's all I'm saying. And I know how college football play. Man, let me tell y'all, bro. Every college football player swear they're going to the league. You'll just be like, you're not going to the league. Like, I used to sit there and talk to some of my teammates, like, why are you doing the combine? Like you barely played with us. You think for some reason you finna get, no, you're not going to the league, but everybody swear that they going to the league, right? So my thing is, like, when you have platforms like this is like putting somebody on what's like American Idol. Like, all right, it's like they just skip trials. They be like, bam, you on the big stage now. Go do your thing. Because you said you can sing, you got Hollywood talent. Well, here's the opportunity. Don't shrink now. So I just want guys to embrace the opportunity and don't live in crazy world when they need to humble themselves and really realize what it really is. So either you got it or you don't, but I just really want to see you try to get it.
Yeah, and you guys aren't crazy. Wanting to see competitive first quarter, because you look back 2 years ago, and I mean it was 28-0, like the first minute in the second quarter. Like that game 2 years ago just got completely out of hand. And let's face it too, UAB historically or recently has not been competitive against Power 5 opponents, let alone the number one team this Saturday. So yeah, I want to see, like Jimmy and Darian said, just be a little competitive and just focus on yourselves more this week. But we're 23 minutes in. I guess it's time for predictions. And Darian, I'll throw it to you first this week to give your official score prediction.
Man, do we really got to do this? Can we skip this today?
We have to, for the fans, give a score. I'll go. You want me to go first?
Yeah, go take it away, man.
Okay. Georgia 49, UAB 17.
I think you're being gracious, to be honest. Georgia 56, UAB 3.
Man, I picked us to lose the last 2 weeks. Like, is this the week that I'm going to pick us to win? No. So, okay, I'm going to meet here in the middle. The number I was thinking about for UAB offensively is 10. So, and you look at Georgia in their first 3 games, they've allowed 24 points total, 14 against South Carolina and Spencer Rattler last week. But I like to see UAB getting the board. I like to see us hit a field goal, and I like to see Trent Dilfer, Mort be aggressive and see UAB get in the end zone at least one time. So I'll give UAB 10 points. On the other side, defense has been a problem. I don't see Georgia running it up per se, but I'll give Georgia 52 to 10.
Hey, we on the board, 10 points. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Yes.
What if we get like a pick? Like, oh, like I want to.
That's what Swoops did.
No, we want offensive touchdown. We want offense.
No. I'm saying, like, what if we get like a turnover in the first quarter? Like, I'll be so happy, like, oh, Kobe Dempsey, or like just something to where it's like, oh man, we got some juice, and then like a young guy sack, like Emmanuel Waller or something. And I just want to see little bright spots. That's what I'm looking for. Like, I want to see bright spots of competition and edge. I don't even care about the score.
You might have said this earlier, John, but it was Swoops that had the pick six against Carson Beck the last time we were up there, right? Or down
Yes,
there.
that's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's do it again. Like Carson Beck, welcome back to Swoops Part 2. Pick six. Let's go.
Let's go. Is he
I
gonna
would,
bring out the skull turnover, or what was it, the dragon skull turnover
I hope
tank?
so.
Oh,
Yes. Especially if we do it early, but if it's like 56-0, then no, just keep that thing in the box.
man, do whatever we need to do to have an edge. Do whatever. I don't even care. Whatever we need to have an edge going into Tulane. You know, I don't even care. Just do what you got to do. Like I also want to see maybe like a Fred Ferrier, like if we score like a 57-yard touchdown to where he actually like outrun the guys or like do something to where he shows that he is better than that player. Everybody else is probably better that they have, but hey, Fred Ferrier was better than this guy on this play. And he deserves being in the NFL when it's his time. Like, I want to see a play like that, so, and I'd be happy, bro. Like, I'd be happy. I just want to see us compete and have an edge and say, F those dudes. That's
right.
Hey, that's right. And hey, no matter what, it's a guarantee that Cahaba beers will be flowing here at the Blazer Victory Cave. You can bet on that no matter what happens.
That's right.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's our preview for the Georgia game. As always, we will be back for an instant reaction episode following the Georgia game. But Jimmy, you want to go and send us out?
Blazer Nation, just blaze.
Score a touchdown.